Hi everyone, I'm Raya and this is my sister Kristen. She's gonna be helping me take the crow test. But first of all, let me tell you what we're gonna be discussing in this video. We're gonna be discussing George Miller, memory span, magic number, and crow digit test, which I just talked about, and concept formation. So to begin with, we're gonna do the crow digit test, which is gonna test our memory span or magic number or crow, which I will later expand upon. So to begin with, what is this test about? So the crow digit test takes a list of numbers like this one right here, and you can have the first number, which is one digit, 3, and then second number is 2 digits, 4, 7. Third number would be 3 digits, 3, 9, 2, etc., etc. And so I will be listing out these numbers digit by digit, and my sister has to recall each one of them. And then the last number that she can recall without getting confused or getting it wrong is her crow. So we are gonna start. 3, 4, 7, 3, 9, 2, 7, 4, 5, 1, 6, 3, 5, 9, 1, 4, 0, 5, 7, 2, 9, 5, 6, 8, 2, 7, 0, 3, 0, 5, 8, 3, 1, 7, 4.
05839784.
Wrong. You were close though. So her crow is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Her crow is 7, which is the average, and I will also talk about that later. And now for my turn, she will read off the digits on her list.
2
2,
81
8, 1,
940
9, 4, 0,
6921
6, 9, 2, 1,
53768
5, 3, 7, 6, 8,
214590
2, 1, 4, 5, 9, 0,
0215973
0, 2, 1, 5, 9, 7, 3,
2754013
2, 7, 5, 4, 0, 1, 3, 9. Oh, that was wrong. What was my crow?
7
7. So I had a crow of 7 just like her. So why did we do this test? This test wasn't just like a fun competition to see who can memorize the longest numbers. It tests your memory span and or your crow limit or your magic number. And so it's called all these different things because your memory span is the longest amount of items in the list that you can recall, and the magic number is comes from a study done by George Miller, which proved the memory span of adults is the magic number 7 plus or minus 2. And you saw like 7 was the average between us both and around the world, and we will dive deeper into that. And it's called the crow because in the 1950s, back in the East, a test was done with an actual crow. And so there was this crow in a tree and it was constantly noisy. And this test was set up where a tent was put next to that tree, and one student walked into the tent and the crow would stop being noisy because it knew that there was a person there. And as soon as that student went out, the crow went back to being noisy. And this test was repeated with 2 students. So both students came in one at a time, and then the crow stopped and one student came out and the crow was still silent. And as soon as the second one came out, the crow went back to making its noises. And then done with 3 students, same result. And as soon as it hit 4 students, as soon as the third student out of 4 came out of the tent, the crow started making noises again. And so it forgot that there was a 4th person in there. That means its crow limit is 3. And thankfully, our crow limit is not the same as an actual crow because we're humans and we're not birds, and we have a bigger mental capacity and memory span. But yeah, that's why it could be called crow. Remember what I was saying about George Miller and the magic number 7 plus or minus 2? Well, George Miller was a famous researcher and founder of cognitive psychology from Harvard University who wrote the magical number 7 plus or minus 2, which is his paper that has been greatly referenced. And it studied the limits on our capacity for processing information. And it also discusses the limits of short-term memory in humans. He discovered a coincidence between the limits of one-dimensional absolute judgment, which is how many items within the same stimuli you can hold within your mind or differentiate, and between short-term memory span. And he came up with 7 as the number, and it was plus or minus 2 because there were differences there were disparities between people, and also, he mentioned this method that helped with retaining information better, which was called chunking. And so, a chunk is a meaningful unit in the presented material. And so, for example, and it also depends on a person's knowledge and the word's lexical status. For example, if you gave a non-speaking English person a bunch of words, they would have to remember it using phonetic sounds, and that's like way smaller chunks. That's even like breaking up one word in the middle. But an English speaker would be able to chunk those words together because they understand what they mean and they understand their resonance. So, and this can help us go into something called concepts. Similar to chunks, concepts are used to help you retain information better and carry it on, also achieving true knowledge. Let me explain. So, concepts are made by taking perceptions, which are created by sensations or individual stimuli using your 5 senses. So whatever I see, that's a perception, and with that, I can create concepts. Those perceptions are made automatically, but creating concepts is a volition, meaning it doesn't happen automatically. And you have to create them by finding similarities between those perceptions and grouping them together based on that. And those similarities can't just be any random characteristics. They have to be defining characteristics, something that tells you the most about that item. So, for example, a defining characteristic would be a living organism with feathers that lays eggs, okay? And then the perceptions would be a chicken, pigeons, parrots, penguins. And with that, you can create a concept called birds. And therefore, you can just store all those perceptions within the concept of birds. And then concepts can also be created out of concepts using a conceptual hierarchy, meaning the concept of birds, mammals, fish, reptiles, and all the other groups can be put together into animals. And that is an abstract idea of all those concepts. So concepts, like as you go up the hierarchy, you start first of all with first level concepts, which are the most basic ones, like the most physical ones, not abstract. For example, cat. But as you go up, it becomes more abstract, and that is the top level. And the concepts are important for your crow because it helps expand it. Let me tell you more. So the reason why creating concepts is useful for your crow and your memory span and your magic number is because it helps increase it. And the way it does that is because concepts condense information you are given and that you want to hold and retain better. And it gives you a better understanding of them as you create connections between them and other concepts or them and other ideas or perceptions. And doing that makes you realize the characteristics between them and just helps you understand everything better. Like whatever the topic at hand is, you understand it better and you're able to retain it better in your mind. Also while condensing the information, meaning a big group of perceptions or items or whatever it is, or even concepts, can be condensed into one more generalized concept or abstract concept that fits better into your crow. For instance, like a list of 10 can be condensed into one, and that is one item in your crow rather than 10 items. Therefore, you are able to carry on more information, you are able to process more information, and it just helps your memory all in all and helps your understanding. And it makes you more knowledgeable. that's why you should be creating concepts using perceptions and finding those characteristics and just taking in the physical world around you and making the most out of it by understanding it better and using concepts. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and you guys should also try the crow test or the magic number test. Thank you.